What's up, y'all? It's your boy eBay Fight Predictions in the building. I'll be breaking down Mr. Kevin Lee versus Diego Sanchez on Eagle FC 46. Y'all already know Kevin Lee's my guy, so I gotta break down some of his fights. He's fighting Diego Sanchez here in the main event at 165. Decent card actually. You got Ray Borg on there. Who else you got on here? Is that it? Arwen Rivera. That's actually interesting. He's actually going to be here. Impa Kasangane. Yeah, just noticed that. But yeah, the main event, 3 rounds at 165. They're about to make history. Honestly, it's nothing much to really break down here. If I'm being quite honest, Kevin should win this fight. Where the fight goes, he should win in the stand-up. He should win in the wrestling. He should win in the jiu-jitsu scrambles. He should win in the kicking range, in the Muay Thai range, kickboxing range. He should win in the clinch. He literally should win this fight everywhere. But the X factor coming in here is I have this weird feeling, and I think it might be just because some of my homies are kind of like fucking with me, saying that, hey, Kevin might fucking fluke this and give up or fumble the bag here against Diego. Kevin has a weird way of making certain fights he should win very, very close. I guess the number one example here would probably be, in my humble opinion, the Al Quinta fight. That should have been an easy win for him. And crazy enough, Al has wins over both of these guys. Damn near Al's both of their fucking pops. So that's crazy. Yeah, and I kind of felt like he should have beat Leonardo Santos back in the day. So those are 2 fights that come into mind breaking this down. But Diego Sanchez is a legend of the game, and he's been in there. Obviously, he's 40 years old, but he's fought for world titles. He's been in the top 5 as a lightweight. He made a bit of a run as a welterweight, actually was beating some prospects, and was doing his thing until he met Mr. Michael Chiesa. You already know. But he was dealing with some problems in there, but both guys are in the same scenario. Both guys have lost their last fight, and Kevin's actually lost quite a few in his last 5. Obviously, fighting the best of the best. Actually, Diego's fought, and out of his last 5, he's only 2 and not 2 and 3. He's 3 and 2 actually. So he's actually 1 more in his last 5 than Kevin, where Kevin is in 1 and 4. So yeah, they both need to win here. I would say Kevin needs it more because he's younger and he still, has ample time to leave a mark on this sport. I think Diego, whatever happens here, I think people are going to have respect for him. You kind of have to, man. He's a legend of the game, man. I know he's been through some things and he's had some weird situations, but he's a legit dude in this game, and you got to respect him. But in terms of the stats, man, they are fighting at 165, so it will be interesting to see Kevin at his ample weight. I feel like Kevin was always too big for 155, and I always felt like he was too small for 170. Against Rafael Dos Anjos, that was a perfect style matchup for him, and he still fluked that one. That's another one. Dos Anjos is a former champ, so you got to respect it, but still, I felt like going into that fight, he should have won. I actually picked him in there, and he fucking made me look crazy. But yeah, back to the stats, man. Kevin comes with a record of 18-7. Is right now currently fighting out of Florida at a Sanford MMA, age 29 and a height of 5'9", and reaches 77. Diego Sanchez, I'm not sure where he's training at right now currently. But yeah, 30-13, great record. Lot of fights, a lot of experience. Not sure where he's fighting out of. Age 40, height of 5'10", and reaches 72. Sorry for the burp. But yeah. I mean, we can run it down, man. Diego has fought some of the best guys in the world for his time, during his time. I just want to say that. And I don't want to be too mean to Diego here. I know a lot of people have taken a lot of unnecessary shots at him, and I don't want to be a part of those people. I do take shots, but still. he's fought some really good people. He has actually win over Nick Diaz. People don't remember that. And then he fought fucking Josh Koscheck, John Fitch. Both guys beat him, right? Went to a split decision with Fitch. Has a win over Joe Stevenson. Beat Clay Guida, right, in a crazy fucking fight. Lost to BJ Penn via doctor stoppage. Fucking fought Jake Ellenberger. Lost that one. Fucking had a crazy fight against Gilbert Melendez. Went to fucking war. Fought Miles Jury. Beat Ross Pearson. Lost to Ricardo Lamas. Beat Jim Miller. Lost to Joe Lozon. Lost to Ali Quinta and Matt Brown. Vicious losses right there. Got beat up there bad. Got finished. But, I mean, he has some really good wins here. Craig White and Mickey Gall at welterweight. This is when he was kind of making his run at welterweight, and I was shocked he was winning. The Mickey Gall fight was insane. He finished him, too, via ground and pound. And I felt like this was the best version of Diego Sanchez later in his career, like past his prime, right? He was still with Albuquerque. They were taking care of him. They were working together. And I just felt like it didn't go his way, sadly. And, yeah, and then he ran into Michael Chiesa, who put on a clinic in there, a wrestling clinic. The takedowns controlled him. Like it was like a little kid going up against a grown man. It was crazy. And Chiesa obviously got the decision victory. I think 30-27 or maybe 30-26. And then his fight against Michel Pierre, he won. But you know, I actually recently just watched that again. He was getting his ass beat in that whole fight. And then, you know, did the veteran thing and took the fucking knee, and he got awarded the win. So good for him. You know, no disrespect there. Then fought Jake Matthews, and this was interesting. Jake Matthews, a guy that Kevin beat pretty handily, but I rate Jake Matthews to a certain extent. I think he's a decent fighter. I think he can actually, he can beat certain people at welterweight. And he might end up getting, ranked maybe number 15 one day in his life. But Jake... I felt like Jake took it easy on him. I don't say that a lot. I know a lot of people like saying that about Anderson Silva when he fought Adesanya. They like to say, oh, man, Izzy took it easy on him. No, he didn't. Stop making excuses for your boy. But against Diego, I kind of just felt like Jake should have finished him. He could have finished him, and I actually felt like he really went easy on him. There's a really embarrassing moment here where fucking Diego Sanchez tries his best Masvidal impression and goes for the flying knee, and it was really, really... That one was a hard one to watch. That was a new low for Diego. And after that, he had his little drama with his coach. I forgot that guy's name, bro. But his coach was doing some bullshit martial arts fucking kung fu thing. I don't know what he was doing, but he was trying to use fucking energy. I don't know. I forgot what the guy was teaching, but it's some weird self-defense bullshit. And he was working with that guy, and it looked a little suspect. Looked like they were doing weird things with each other. But luckily, Diego finally left that guy, and I think Diego's in a better mental space. And I think against Kevin Lee, I think he's in a better mental space, but I do not think physically in his body will allow him to compete the way he should compete. Like Kevin, Kevin main evented a pay-per-view against Tony fucking Ferguson, but that's the tip of the iceberg, right? I know the people make fun of Kevin and this and that, but let's look at the people Kevin has fought, right? Michel Pereira, right? This is the guy that beat Gilbert Burns. Yeah, Michel Pereira. That's actually a decent win there. He also fought Shavkat Ramonov, if you know Shavkat. Obviously has that loss to Leonardo Santos, but destroyed Jake Matthews, completely obliterated Magomed Mustafayev, beat Francisco Trinaldo, and obviously beat my boy Michael Chiesa. Went to war with Tony Ferguson. In my humble opinion, he was up 2 rounds in that fight, and he almost fucking finished Tony in the first round, but Tony, he got it out. I give him his respect there. Then probably one of the... It's hard to say if this was his best performance, but in my opinion, going 5 rounds, this was his best performance in a 5-round fight against Edson Barboza, man. He put on a clinic in this fight. I was tremendously impressed here. He destroyed Barboza. And then he had his rematch against Ali Quinta, and I actually picked Ali Quinta here. I kind of felt like Kevin was talking too much trash in the fight week. And I remember they had a bit of I forgot what it was called. It wasn't a countdown, but it was one of those fight nights where they break it down in a whole hour, like a countdown. Interruption, I'm back. But like I was saying, I just felt like Kevin was reading too much of his paper clippings, and I kind of felt like, one of the things that really stand with me, he said same old Al, and in that little 1 hour special, and he just kept saying same old Al, same old Al. And I remember Al even said he said it to him in the ceremonial weigh-ins where they do the stare downs. And then there's a moment in the 5th round, and I actually felt like Kevin would have edged it or might have got the decision. I was scared because I was like, fuck, man, I should have fucking stuck with Kevin here, because it was a close fight. I felt like the first 3 rounds, okay, I shouldn't say the first 3 rounds. That first round can go either way. I felt like you could say Kevin won, but that spinning back fist that Al landed was pretty cool. And then the next 2 and 3, Kevin definitely won those. And then 4 and 5 were definitely Al's rounds. Very, very close fight. And you can say Kevin won the first 3 rounds. I just don't think he did. But I was scared. But there was a moment in that 5th round. Al is piecing up Kevin for 5 straight minutes. But that last minute, and in those last 30 seconds, he's beating him up. Those last 20 seconds, he's beating him up. Those last 10 seconds, he's beating him up. And after they ring the bell, round fucking 5, he screams at him, same old Al. In that moment, I personally felt like Kevin's soul was taken. I don't know. He hasn't been the same since that fight. He has not been the same. The dominance of his wrestling has not been the same. It just hasn't. What he did to Edson Barboza, he hasn't been able to do with any of these guys. His striking might have got better, but his wrestling hasn't looked the same, in my humble opinion. Just hasn't. He fought Rafael dos Anjos at welterweight. Somewhat arrogant here, but I actually picked him because I just felt like Rafael was done competing at the high level, and I felt like because of Colby and Usman kind of showed the blueprint to beat him. I thought Kevin could do it, and he fucking failed. He gassed himself out. It was close, but I mean, Dos Anjos was getting his own takedowns, and it just, even if Kevin would have fucking edged it, it would have just showed me that Kevin isn't a real welterweight and probably shouldn't compete with those guys. Then he had, the fight that gave me hope against Gregor Gillespie. I stuck with Kevin here. It was a very hard fight to stick with him here. So many people were doubting him. I was like, man, I don't know. I really don't know. He might lose this fight, but I stuck with him here. I really did stick with him. I picked him here, and he fucking showed out and had a tremendous performance here. And I felt like Frost Sahabi was always a good fit for him. I think Frost was a really good fit for him. I really do. And I wish, and I'll talk more about this later. And then he had the fight with Charles Oliveira and had a good performance against Oliveira. I felt like he gave Oliveira problems. I felt like he definitely won that second round. The first round you could give it to Oliveira or you could give it to Kevin. It's kind of hard to pick. And then in that third round, Oliveira got the choke, and it just shows the same issues where, he's getting caught in submissions, and but there's something you will notice that Kevin in all these fights have that Kevin doesn't have going to Diego Sanchez, and I'll bring that up. Then he fights Dan Rodriguez in his last attempt to go to welterweight and made his decision that he's never going up to lightweight or going down to lightweight. And that Rodriguez fight, so I remember I was watching the first round, and I thought Kevin did great. This was at work, so I was like, oh, Kevin got this in the bag. And then I remember one of my homeboys, SSG, he hit me up with the, SMH emoji like this, like Kevin. Like, I was like, what? Did he lose? And I hit him up. I was like, how did he lose? He did so great in the first round. And he was like, nah, bro, watch the rest of the fight. And I watched the rest of the fight, and I almost threw my phone at the fucking goddamn door, bro. I'm happy I didn't watch that live and I didn't do a live stream, because I probably would have fucking cussed out Kevin Lee for the next hour. But that was so disappointing. He literally fumbled in there against D-Rod. It is what it is. And I think Kevin said it best. It was the first time he ever lost to a bum. D-Rod isn't a bum. Don't get it twisted. I'm not calling D-Rod a bum, but in my humble opinion, people are going to get mad at me. But skill for skill, Kevin is better than D-Rod. D-Rod might have slicker hands, but it is what it is. But to my point where I said Kevin had something in every single fight that he doesn't have in this Diego Sanchez fight, and I don't want to bash him, but his name is Dewey Cooper. I like Dewey. Dewey's a good dude. I think Dewey's a great coach. He's a great coach. He's a phenomenal coach. You know, he's coaching the heavyweight world champion of the world. I actually trust Dewey Cooper with Keith Lee, Kevin's little brother. But I'm going to say this right now. Dewey Cooper is the main reason why Kevin hasn't improved. And I think Kevin going to Sanford MMA, he will go from leaps and bounds of improvement. I don't want Kevin, like, there's a chance that, you know, Kevin could be like another Deron Caldwell, where Caldwell tricked everyone going to Sanford MMA thinking, oh, he's going to do good now in Bellator, and he ends up fucking losing every fucking fight. But there's a possibility of that. But in my humble opinion, I think with Henry Hooft and all those guys like Coach Strout and Greg Jones, I trust them to change Kevin, and Kevin's going to have better sparring partners, right? To change Kevin and make him better, because I feel like Dewey, he ruined Kevin. He ruined him. And I don't like putting blames on coaches. It's always going to be on the fighters. But in my humble opinion, Dewey Cooper ruined Kevin Lee. I don't like saying that. I like Dewey. I've had really good messages with Dewey on the DMs. I think Dewey's a really good guy, and I hope. And there's a part of me, I wish I never even brought that up, but that's just how I honestly feel. I feel like Dewey's pad work, and I've talked to guys. I won't name none of them, but I know guys that come from that money team, and I know guys that used to coach at Money Mayweather's gym, and they told me, all right, Dewey's not the coolest guy in the room in that gym. All right, he's a little stuck up. Right? He thinks he's better than everyone. Right? Dewey has legitimate MMA experience, legitimate kickboxing experience, legitimate boxing experience. I know this guy. Don't get it twisted. I know Dewey Cooper. I don't know him personally, but I know his resume, and I know how what he has. And I think Dewey works better with powerful strikers. Guys that can really knock other people out. I don't think he ever worked well with Kevin Lee. And Kevin shouldn't fight like that. Hopefully Kevin wins this. He should destroy Diego Sanchez in the first round. I pray. I pray. But you never know. Crazier things that can happen. But yeah, I gotta go Kevin Lee here. By first round rear naked choke. He should murder Diego Sanchez. But hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. This was me really just venting about Kevin Lee and why he hasn't reached his success that he should have, and also me just being nice to Diego Sanchez, but and maybe kind of dissing Dewey Cooper. And honestly, if he does see this, man, Dewey, no disrespect, you're a great coach, but I just felt like your style and the way you coach just never translated to Kevin. And no disrespect, you guys are close, man. I know that when Kevin left them, Kevin left Eric Nixon, Dewey Cooper. I know there was no beef, but in my humble opinion, and maybe fucking Kevin realized it, but they just didn't work. It just didn't work. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to fucking subscribe, like, comment, and share the video. I should start saying that in the beginning, but eBay be messing up. But love y'all and goodbye.
And B. But when that idea has been shattered and now you're just a really good fighter, some fighters just lose their enthusiasm for the game. And then there's Diego Sanchez, who doesn't seem to give a fuck about any of that and just there to wreck people.
You know what?
He's going backwards in time. His clock is turning backwards.
But I think it's because he focuses on himself. You know what I mean? He don't... Diego's out of his mind for sure.
For sure.
But maybe he's into his mind, you know what I mean? Maybe he's just so focused on himself, and even if you can't, if you're looking at John and you like, man, I ain't never gonna catch up to that level, I'm just not gonna be that.
Right.
Then yeah, that can really like you said, start to really discourage you a lot. But then if you're just okay, I'm better today than I was yesterday, and my jab's it's not as straight as it could be. So let me just work on that and just pick the next thing and just keep constantly going to that. I feel like that's what real champions do. They don't necessarily look at, the other person. And Diego, even if he ain't got the belt, he's still in his head. That's maybe how he thinking of it. I don't know. You had to talk to him. He seemed like a crazy dude. But, you need to be crazy, though, to do this shit.